Hello, this is Mr. Rasmussen with Algebra 1 and Lesson 106. We start out this lesson, we just remind ourselves what a linear equation is. Linear means a straight line, and we know that the equation will graph a linear line by looking at the exponents, and if it doesn't have any squareds or cubes or anything higher than just a power of 1, it's going to be a straight line. Okay, as we look at this lesson here, we see that they give us 2 points. If we were to take out our graph paper and graph x4 and y2, we'd get a point, and then x -5 and y -3, we'd get a point, and it would graph a line. However, they're not asking us to graph it. They're asking us to write the equation in slope-intercept form for the equation that these 2 points, the equation for the line that these 2 points would create. So we don't need to graph it. We're going to use mathematics, and we're going to use the slope formula to first get our slope. So remember the slope formula. I'm going to put y1 minus y2 over top of x1 minus x2. Okay, so let's plug some values in there and find out what our slope is first. So my first y value is 2, minus my second y value is -3. My first x value is 4, minus my second x value, which is -5. Okay, so these negatives cancel each other out, so it becomes positive and positive. So it looks like my slope is going to be 5/9. Okay, so I'm going to plug, now this part is new, I'm going to take my slope formula. Remember, that's y equals m for the slope, x plus b, which is the intercept. So slope and intercept. So now that I know what my slope is, I'm going to plug that into the equation and put that right here, 5/9. Okay, then I don't know what my intercept is, but I need to find that out. So I'm going to put a plus b there as the variable I'll be solving for. Then I have my x value and my y value sitting in here. To be able to solve this, I just pick one of the 2 sets of coordinates. And in the book there, I see that they show you how to, it shows you solving this for both of them. They do it for the 4, 2 first, and then the -5 and the -3. I'm just going to do one of them. We'll use the 4 and the 2. So the 4 is the x value, so we're going to put that right here. And then the 2 is the y value, so we'll plug that in there. Okay, then we want to solve for b. So we have multiplication here with the 2 fractions. That gives me 20/9 equals 2 plus b. And then I want to remove this fraction from my variable. It's connected by addition, so I'm going to subtract it on both sides. So I get 2 minus 20/9 equals b. I need to get a common denominator. That's going to be 9. So I'm going to rewrite that over here. So if I rewrite that as 9, the 2 is going to become 18. Okay, so 18 minus 20 gives me -2/9. All right, so that now is equal to my slope. So as my answer, I want to write equal to my intercept, I'm going to write my slope and my intercept into the equation. I'm not putting any x and y values in. I'm leaving them as variables. So my answer for the first one is y equals, put my slope in, of 5/9 x, and then my intercept of -2/9. And there's my answer. Okay, let's do that again, just so you can see those steps again. First of all, I need to have example 2. I have my 2 set of coordinates, and I need to find out what my slope is. So -2 minus, I'm writing those coordinates, so take that out of there. -2 minus 4 over top of 4 minus -3. Okay, -2 minus 4 gives me a -6. These 2 cancel each other out. 4 plus 3 gives me a 7. So it looks like my slope is -6/7. Okay, let's plug that in and then solve. So I'm I'm going to pick x, let's back up here. Y is equal to negative 6 over 7x plus my intercept. Okay, let's pick, I'm just going to pick the first one there. So that means my x value is 4. So I'll put the 4 in there and we'll put the negative 2 in there. Let's rewrite this. Negative 2 is equal to negative 6 over 7 times my 4 and then plus b. Okay, so I plug in, I just pick, I could have used that one as well, but I just decided to use the first one. Okay, so if I multiply this out, negative 24 over 7, okay? And then since it's connected by multiplication there, now there's a negative sign here, so careful, I need to add this to both sides to get that to cancel out. So I have a negative 2, I'll write it in the front here, 24 over 7, well, I don't want to confuse you with that. Let's back up here a little bit. Negative 2 plus 24 over 7, okay, is equal to my b. I've canceled that side right there. Okay, I need to get my common denominator. Our common denominator is going to be 7. That's going to change my top to a negative 14. And then we can add. Looks negative 14 plus 24 looks like 10 over 7 equals my intercept. Okay, does that make sense? Now, I haven't worked with fractions maybe a whole lot, but add 24 over 7 to both sides. You've got to get a common denominator. You've got to kind of brush that up there on adding and subtracting your fractions. Okay, so we've got our intercept. Let's write it as a complete answer now. Y is equal to, put in my slope, negative 6 over 7, put in my x, and then put in my intercept. It's a positive plus 10 over 7, and there is my answer. Okay, let's look at the last example problem. And this one here is a little different. Now, upon investigation, you notice that both your x values are 4, which means it doesn't, if you were to graph these 2 points, the first point and the second point doesn't move any distance to the right or to the left. This shows that it goes straight up and down. It's a vertical line. I want to show you that with the slope, though, as they do there in the book. So let's do our slope formula. 3 minus a negative 3 over top of 4 minus 4. So this one here, plus you get 6. This on the bottom, you get 0. Now, that 0 on the bottom there, we would list this as undefined. List this as undefined, okay? And anytime you get a 0 in the denominator and it is undefined and you're trying to graph something, then it is going to graph a vertical line. Okay, so if we were to do this, we'd have x, here would be 0, okay? The one x value, here's positive 4 on the x, so you go up to 3 on the y, and then you go down to negative 3 on the y, and there's the line. Okay, that being said, let's move on to the practice problems. Go ahead and do these yourself, and then check your work with my work to see if you've got this. Okay, practice problem A. Let's find out our slope. A negative 5 minus a negative 1 over top of 3 minus 2. This becomes a positive. Negative 5 plus 1, negative 4 here. 3 minus 2 gives me 1. My slope is a negative 1/4. Okay, I'm going to plug these values in here. I just am picking the first one. You can pick either one. Actually, these numbers look smaller, so let's go with the second ones for this one. Okay, so I'm going to put my y value in. Negative 1 is my y. Here's my x. Is equal to my slope, negative 4. Well, let's clean that up. That's actually just, right? That's just negative 4. Okay, and then my x value is 2, and then plus b. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. To get it away from this side, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So negative 1 plus 8 is 7 for an intercept. So let's rewrite this. Y is equal to negative 4x plus 7 And there is my answer. All right, let's look at the second one here. Negative 3 plus 5 for my y's, and negative 3 plus 6 for my x's. Add these together, it looks like I get 2 on the top, 3 on the bottom. My slope is 2/3. All right, looking at my answer key here, and that's giving me a different, let's see if I wrote that down right. Negative 3, 6, and 5. All right, so, oh, I did it wrong. Yes, glad I caught that. Slope formula is to subtract, not add. Let's try that again. All right. Negative 3 minus 5, negative 3 minus 6. There we go. Slope formula, you subtract them. Okay, negative 3 minus 5 gives me a negative 8 here. Negative 3 minus 6 gives me a negative 9 here. Negatives cancel each other out. My slope is 8/9. All right, let's plug that in. Let's use our first values. So I won't get them mixed up because they're both the same values. So negative 3. Well, no, I'm actually going to be, no, where is that? Negative 3 is equal to my slope, 8/9. My x value, negative 3, equal plus my intercept. Okay, so let's multiply these together. We get negative 24/9 equals negative 3 plus b. There's a negative here, so I've got to add a 24/9 to both sides. 24/9, there we go. All right, and then I got to get a common denominator. So 24/9, common denominator is going to be, well, actually on this one I can cross, no, that's multiplication, can't do that. All right, I'm going to 9 here. So if I put a 9 there, 3 times 9 is 27, so negative 27/9. 24 minus 27, negative 3/9 is equal to my b, and that can be reduced to negative 1/3. Okay, there we go. So that one's tricky because your slope is a fraction, like we saw in the first example we worked through. Okay, let's write my answer out. Y is equal to my slope of 8/9 times my x value minus, because there's a negative there, 1/3 for my intercept. All right, what that means for my intercept is if here's 0 and here's negative 1, it's actually right here, 1/3 of the way. A little tricky there if you were to have to graph that. Okay, go ahead and reach out if you have any questions. Have a great day.